Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I'm Kelly Stewart at Kelly in Vegas, joined by Brian Leonard at B Leonard Sports on Twitter, Teddy Covers at Teddy_Covers. So I was trying to think of a creative name for Johnny Detroit. Basically, our SEO guru figured out that how to win long-term at sports betting was one of the most sought-after sports betting terms. And I sat right there and said, well, there's a lot that goes into it. We should do a video on it. So Brian, you are up first. Tell me one of the key components to being a long-term winning sports bettor.
Okay, the first thing I always say is don't get too high, don't get too low. The problem you run into, and we've done this for so long, everybody gets on winning streaks. You think you figured it all out. You're the greatest handicapper in the world. You're on a losing streak.
You're on cloud nine.
Yeah, you're on cloud nine. You're on a losing streak. You lock yourself in the room, and
now you're
I've been guilty for this. You lock yourself in a room. You don't want anybody to see you. The world is ending. That kind of thing. If you've been doing it as long as Teddy and I have, you've got to be level. And anytime, I'm good at the part of not getting too high, because I always tell myself, I go, yeah, you may be getting a little bit lucky. This happened, that happened.
I'll take lucky any day.
I'm really good at that. The problem is when I'm losing, I still get down, although it's a lot better than a lot of people. Some people really take it the extremes. So just keep in mind, it's a long run. You're going to have your ups and downs. If you continually to do the same things, you'll have success in the long run. But you're going to lose an overtime game once in a while. You're going to lose an extra inning game in baseball. You're going to get beat by a three-pointer at the buzzer. That's just what happens. And a lot of people think that if they're on a winning streak, they figured it all out. Not the case.
All right, Teddy.
So I would say my number one thing would be have realistic expectations. Okay, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You might be hot, like Brian was saying. So you can have some really nice runs and make a whole lot of money in a
so like my buddy that won like 15 grand in the NFL playoffs and went and bought a new car with his bankroll and couldn't figure out why he lost that and then some back in January. One of those.
Sure. Yeah. We've all been there.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
A lot of these lessons don't get learned the first time or don't get learned the easy way, but have realistic expectations. When we talk about long-term success, that means steady bankroll growth over time. It doesn't mean I'm going to buy a new car and I'm going to buy a new house and I'm going to buy everyone a fun night at the club and I'm still going to have tons of money to make 8 times bigger size bets next year than I did this year. It means be realistic about what you can accomplish one step at a time.
All right, Brian, what's your number 2?
It's very similar to Teddy's. It's don't bet over your head. Most people I know who gamble for a living bet 1-2% of their bankroll for the most part. One of our colleagues, Ed Meyer, wrote a paper 20 years ago, and he talked about how you could lose money betting sports by winning 60% of your games. Now we look at it and we think 60%, that's like a terrific season. Just people aim for that. But if you bet too much of your bankroll, he says if you're betting 16% of your bankroll, you're going to lose winning 60% of your games. So you need to understand what is similar to what he talked about, what a realistic win percentage is, and don't bet too much. Now, a lot of people, I flat bet for the most part, but a lot of people will bet maybe twice as much. I always say never bet more than twice as much on any single game, because the little edge you have is not enough to make it double. Now, if you're setting yourself up where you're betting a game Sunday night at -10, knowing the line's going to go to 14, I could see betting twice as much then and then coming back later and doing it. But if it's just a straight bet, keep it all in the same size.
Teddy.
So you talked just there about little edges. That's what we have. Okay, we have little edges. Little edges over time create profits. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do. That's how you win money betting on sports, is you take your little edges every time you find them, and you find them on a daily basis. Here's a little edge here. Hey, this is a 55% play. Maybe this is a 58% play. Maybe this is a 60% play. Over time, you're going to win more of those than you lose, and that's how you make money betting sports. So little edges over time.
Brian, do you have a third and final?
Yeah, it's similar to what he just said. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We're in it for the long run. Everybody's going to have winning streaks. They're going to have losing streaks. Just keep in mind, you're trying to gradually build. People get upset if they have a losing play. They get upset if they have a losing day. We've all had losing weeks. We've all had losing months. In fact, we've had losing years in certain sports. It's going to happen. What we're trying to do is get a group of positive expectation plays and just grind out a profit. We're not in this to get rich. You're in this to build your bankroll for the future.
And my last piece is going to be, you got to be winning games by a half point, not losing games by a half point. I mean, we talk about outs and having more places to bet, having enough places to bet. The difference between having one place to bet and two places to bet is the difference between winning and losing. Mm-hmm. The difference between having two places to bet and three places to bet is winning and losing X number of bets. The more outs you have, the more chances you have to win these games by a half point, of finding that number that didn't move here but moved over there, of winning these games by a hook. And by God, if you're going to do this long term and win at it, you have to be winning a lot of the close decisions, more than your fair share. And you do that by getting the best of the number and line shopping, and that means having multiple outs.
Awesome stuff, guys. Hopefully this video helped you guys be just a little bit better at your hobby. $9 Monday at WagerTalk and sportsmemo.com. All daily packages for Monday's action, $9, and that includes any 5% best bets, normally priced at $40.